Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, June 27, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call tomorrow night, June 28th. Paradise is not somewhere that you need a map to reach. You are in paradise. You have only fallen asleep. All that is needed is an awakening. Also, we all we live in cages of some type that we've constructed, some type, shape, or form. When we feel disconnected from our spiritual nature, anything or anyone can feel like a prison. Anything or anyone can feel like a prison. Perhaps our physical body can feel like a prison. Talk to many people who felt that their bodies were prisons. Financial situations. That's front and center quite a bit on this planet. Emotions. A couple, spouse, or even our own limiting personality can make us feel stuck and trapped. Whatever cage that we are locked up in actually does have a key. That key is sitting there, resting inside the lock, ready to be turned when you have had enough suffering and are ready to set your spirit free once again. Turning your key simply manifests on its own after understanding a few basic principles about what real freedom is and what it is not. Being totally wild and absolutely free is not some radical, rebellious, or disrespectful approach to this life. It is also not about conquering some controlling authority out there who is dictating the rules how we should and shouldn't live our lives. We don't need permission from anybody. We do not need permission from anybody else to manifest the life that we want to create. Real liberation in this life is not a pushing away to find freedom from someone or from something. It is more peaceful than that. It's about finding that which is already free inside us to be, do, and believe whatever we want to. Real freedom is about recognizing how we already are the final word and ultimate authority of our life. It is knowing that what you honestly believe is what becomes real. And this is the end truth and final reality. There's still presently on this planet living and breathing beings of over 8 billion, believe it or not. And different realities, right? Over 8 billion different realities on this planet and this very now. And each of us is one of them. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild, fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. That should be indelibly planted in our heart mind. when we realize that we are already the absolute final authority of our lives, nobody else is, the truth is that we are already constantly manifesting everything in our lives. Whenever we place our attention for an extended period of time, not sound, just brief, but an extended period of time is where our energy flows and is what we manifest. There's no getting around it. It kind of goes into all of us taking responsibility spiritually for our lives. Not physical material, but spiritually. They've had it shifted in reverse for hundreds of thousands of years. Whenever we place our attention for an extended period of time is where our energy flows and what we manifest. We, all of us, are already one with the great God source. We're not going to be, okay? We are. And it is creating everything around us through us. And our greatest freedom comes from understanding this, surrendering to this truth, and feeling how it shows up in everything we do. Every action we take in this life is an expression and extension of our consciousness. Whatever we are feeling about ourselves and life is emanating energy out into the world around you, around all of us. Nothing and no one is separate from each other, period. Nothing and no one is separate from each other. Now, it's been obviously, we've been pre-programmed to believe the opposite of that. And you can just look around you to understand that is a fact, Jack. Every action we take in this life is an expression and extension of our consciousness. Whatever we are feeling about ourselves and this life is emanating energy out into the world around us. Nothing and no one is separate from each other. We are all impacting each other all the time. By becoming more sensitive to this truth, it becomes obvious how our own limiting beliefs are imprisoning us. Our own beliefs are imprisoning us. Okay? And stopping us from living the magna glorious life we were born to live. And we're talking about the body, right? Being born. Now, I've seen a lot of people, including myself, where through this life, where people do not let the behavior of others destroy their inner peace. And this goes on all the time. We all experience it when we're really young, and then we determine what we're going to do with it. We're going to carry it with us the rest of this life, or are we going to eliminate it? Embrace it, talk with it, eliminate it. Now, the greatest transformations in this life often show up in the most subtle and gentle forms. It is vital that we first see where the prisons exist in our lives. Understand how each one is sustained each day. In order to demolish it from our own minds, initially we may not see the prison walls around us because we are so used to them. These individual cell bars are all the limiting, skeptical, doubtful, and negative beliefs we carry each day. It is a long, compromising list of constructive ideas that we tell ourselves who we are and what is impossible to achieve. To give ourselves permission to be totally wild and absolutely free starts with finding and releasing every limiting belief which we are clinging to. That makes us feel not so expansive and free. Find those heavy, negative thoughts which you honestly feel are true and real about yourself, yet also make you feel sick, stuck, heavy, and very unhappy. Let them go, because they are not just ideas which no longer serve your greatest good. This may sound ridiculously simple, yet when you reach down into the core of you, you'll find that the truth is that you are the God source itself. When you reach down into the core of you, you will find that the truth is that you, all of us, are the God source itself, making up all the rules as we go. And that is all there is. When we are ready to empower ourselves and manifest the most magna, glorious life, you'll discover this truth. And then life just naturally becomes easier, more magical, and amazing. In order to stop being attached to all our limiting beliefs and heavy thoughts, we must choose to deeply desire to be free. We must choose to feel into our suffering inside in order to let it go. There must be a visceral feeling in the body of the stuckness first in order for the release to be real. Then we must choose to continuously step back from it and see how every apparently good and bad belief we had about who we are fall into the pile of small limiting beliefs. We must choose to leave behind all beliefs to be free. Let go of all our disappointments, hopes, and fears if we want to truly start living, because attachment to any belief will create some form of future suffering. Attachment to any belief will create some form of future suffering. We must live a life as if everything could end tomorrow, and also be this eternal spiritual being who knows that nothing could ever destroy us. You see the difference? You feel it? We're talking about two different things. We must choose to live as if everything could end tomorrow, and also be this eternal spiritual being who knows that nothing could ever destroy us. This is your life. So live it to the max. Most of us spend our lives, we get into a certain level, let's age, whatever, of experiences, and we start on this roller coaster ride that we are creating. It doesn't mean we're aware of it or conscious of it. And the roller coaster ride, we go through life, up and down, up and down, up and down. And we can't figure out where it's coming from. Maybe this is the way life should be. Maybe it is the way life is. Maybe I'm being too picky. We don't know exactly. None of us do. Doesn't matter how old we are, age-wise, body-wise. We don't know exactly how long we're going to be around. Even, take this for instance. You get reatomized and you become immortal, right? And you're walking along whistling. You're not really paying attention to many things. You're just in joy. And a bus comes along and hits you. This universe has given these bodies a mouth to smile with and the body to enjoy. If there's anything I continually say to the gods that have left the body, and they innately will know for a period of time. Don't waste a day that you are here in these bodies on this beautiful planet. Go outside and live your life totally, fully, and truly. Don't waste a day that you are here on this beautiful planet. Go outside, live your life today, totally. Live it totally, fully and truly. Feel what it's like to be totally freed from the good and bad opinions of others. It's like for this next week of your life, imagine how it might feel in your body to be completely, truthfully, truly, and honestly free from everyone's thoughts, opinions, and judgments of you. No matter what anyone says, it could be your mom, dad, or some stranger. It does not reflect in any way who or what you are at all. At all, at all. Instead, you realize that the divine, infinite, spiritual being, who you truly are, is beyond all thought and concepts completely. This non-attachment to others' opinions of you is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. This non-attachment to others' opinions of you is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. This is the golden key that turns the lock to realizing at the core who and what we are is already a powerful, divine, and magnificent, magna-glorious spiritual being. This spirit and soul, who we really are in essence, is already always free. How crazy is that? Yet we spend our lives on this planet worrying, stressing, and fearing, being beguiled by the ego mind, which is not us at all. This non-attachment to others' opinions of you, right, is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. Now, some people, they think to themselves, Oh, I don't know. That's risky. They don't want to know. They don't care to do that. Take the risk to get to know your basic spiritual nature. Feel the essence of your infinite spirit inside. This is something that cannot be contained, imprisoned, nor taken away by anything or anyone in the outer world. Realizing this is a real freedom, and this spiritually free feeling is our natural state of being. This spiritually, realizing this is real freedom, and this spiritually free feeling is our natural state of being. All exploration and expression from this place is the most loving act we can give to ourselves and others. The full expression of our real spiritual nature is the deepest gift we can give, as it is the greatest honoring of who we truly are. How many of you can truthfully say to yourselves that you honor the God that you are within that body at all times, 24/7? You honor the God that you are within that body. This is our real spiritual nature. And most of us don't even have a clue that that's what we are. Now, many people may think that becoming a wildly liberated human being is not the top priority on our to-do list this week, right? It really isn't. Got a lot more other things that are more important. Yet, if it's not in there somewhere, you definitively, definitively aren't going to enjoy doing anything on that list of yours. Without wild freedom, your entire life becomes a chore, a burden, and a heavy job that must be accomplished just so that you get your wants and needs met. If you don't stop this nonsense and turn that golden key to unlocking your spiritual freedom, you will miss out on the main core purpose of your life, which is to enjoy the short time you are here and alive. And that's every one of us. It's only by experiencing truth on your own freedom, on your own, experiencing truth on your own, freedom happens. Freedom is the fragrance of the experience of truth. Okay. So the first basic step to freedom is learning how to continuously let go of what others think of you 24 hours a day. This means releasing what you think your immediate friends, family, co-workers, and lovers think about you. Honestly, do you know exactly what goes on in their minds? When you drop what you think their opinions are of you, you can actually release whatever your opinions are about you. As long as you are attached to what anyone thinks about you, you'll never be able to be totally free from what your mind thinks, believes, and perceives about you. We've all discovered that these minds that we have, right? Well, they're illusion, but they seem awfully real, don't they? The mind is like a judgeaholic. It is always judging, comparing, and labeling something or someone, then changing its mind again, judging again. It is a genius and creating all sorts of fanatical, exaggerated opinions, beliefs, and stories. When we understand this truth, it's easy to totally let go of what others think of you, excuse me, for their opinions will always change. You ever notice, okay, for example, someone's horrible out in the news and they're all rotten and bad, nasty. Then they do something wonderful, and it affects everyone. And so then it changes. They're wonderful. They're a wonderful spiritual being. They're love. Yeah, remember that whatever opinions others have of you will always change. They never stay the same. This creates the space inside you to think outside the box and believe whatever you want to believe about who and what you are. This spaciousness is the very source of your greatest freedom. To step back from your thoughts, for they are all borrowed ideas. All those thoughts, they are all borrowed ideas from other people anyway. Remember, you'll know when you have a thought is when you send the thought, not when you keep having them come in. They're all other people's thoughts. All borrowed ideas from other people anyway. Deep down, this life is more humorous and ironic than we could ever realize. We are creating all of our suffering and joy all day long, every day. We are responsible for it all. The irony is that each day along this lifelong journey, at the very core of our being, is a river of perpetual, loving, creative energy overflowing with deep, healing peace. Is a river of perpetual, loving, creative energy overflowing with deep, healing peace. We don't have to go anywhere to find it. All we simply choose to do is sit, become deeply relaxed in the body, and train the mind to not cling to any thought that arises. It may take some time to relax that body of yours. Be truly cling-free and deeply find peace. Yet, doing so will experience your soul essence and spiritual nature. There is nothing more important for any of us that we should be doing with our lives. The more often we practice being at peace with what arises in the mind, the easier it becomes to experience every ordinary thing in life as divine. God follows us wherever we go. Whenever the mind clings to something extra important or special, notice this with awareness and don't push it away. Don't label anything as bad, wrong, or a problem. If you do, this in itself will become what's blocking you from feeling an enlightened, liberated state. Welcome all the thoughts with great curiosity and explore what is beneath each one, you'll see that there is nothing there. Each thought is recycled information gifted from the outer world that we shouldn't take personally at all. At all. Now, if you choose, you want to get down to the core of you, ask yourself some deep personal questions. What hole inside you are you trying to fill? What hole inside you are you trying to fill? Where do you feel trapped in your life? And why? Write these questions down and your answers. If you choose, make this a 20-minute enlightening exercise that gently opens the door to your soul. When you discover where you feel trapped and empty, you'll see why you're clinging to those things that you cannot let go of. This understanding is the most important next step of your wild journey coming ahead. Now, the real battle, if you will, is one when we see that there are no real enemies out there. I know that's tough for people to understand and from different perspectives. But that's the real that's when the real battle is won. When we see that there are no real enemies out there anyway to begin with. And that the only real enemy is the imaginary one within our own mind. This realization is the sacred path to our enlightenment and finding our inner wildness within is the bridge back to our spiritual essence. Simply because our spiritual nature is wild, free, and untamable. Expressing this wild spirit within ourselves awakens us from the almighty ego trip we are on. It unlocks the door so that we can step into this vast universe and deeply take care of our wounded selves in the most sensitive, loving, and healing ways. When we discover this connection to our real spiritual nature, we instantly see how every human being is a soul and a spiritual gift to our lives as well. From this place, each person we encounter becomes the source of more love, joy, and inner peace in our lives. When we give ourselves permission to feel spiritually connected, when amongst others, we truly become the wild, unstoppable, free being we were all born to be. We no longer feel wounded, avoid others, or resist letting ourselves be nourished and loved. We start embracing the divinity that we all actually are. The more we practice feeling into this spiritual connection, the better life feels and the more real our divinity becomes. Understanding that we are all spiritual beings, we realize there is nobody to fight with or against anymore. We see everyone as our friend and greatest teacher. When we can live 24 hours of one day, we can live 24 hours of one day knowing we are all sacred, divine, super spiritual beings that will never, ever, ever, ever die. All of us will stop suffering completely. The fight will end with others and within ourselves. We can all then realize together that we are the ultimate authority of our individual realities and capable of creating heaven any moment we want to on this earth. When man is born, he is tender and weak. At death, he is hard and stiff. When things and plants are alive, they are soft and supple. When they are dead, they are brittle and dry. Therefore, hardness and stiffness are the companions of death, and softness and gentleness the companions of life. When an army is headstrong, it will lose in the battle. When an army is headstrong, it will lose in the battle. When a tree is hard, it will be cut down. The big and strong belong underneath. The gentle and weak belong at the top. And when we say weak, we don't mean not powerful. Okay? That's been a misinterpretation on this planet for a long time. When we say, gentle and weak belong at the top, we don't mean that they're powerless. We don't mean that they aren't very powerful. And people interpret that. Oh, they're weak. Milquetoast. And that was a very good statement that Lao Tzu discovered on his journey to his own freedom. You can be anything you choose to be. Any of us can. That's not just for the saying. That's reality. You can be anything you want to be. I mean, there's so many things on this planet. We've never run out of being the things we want to be. Out of curiosity. You could be everything and anything. Or nothing. You look at all this stuff around us, all these things, all this stuff going on. Do you feel like you're inside it? Or do you feel like you're outside of it? And how do you feel in either one? How do you feel in either one? Ask yourself that question. Could it be that everything that we detest, lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, dishonesty, hatred, revenge, we created? All the wars, all the conflicts, all the threats. We created. Do you believe that there would have been any wars on this planet had we discovered who and what we are? No, there wouldn't have been any. There wouldn't be those who tried to conjure them up. None of that would exist. So you can see from an outside perspective that this is all a playground. And sometimes we do get our knees skinned. And it's real painful. You ever had a skinned knee? Right? and how painful it is. For some reason, the skinned knee is really painful. Not so much the elbow or anything, but that knee. When we skin that knee, we have a lot of pain. And it takes it a while for the body to heal it. This is like skinning your knee. You kind of grimace and say, did we really create all this? And none of us are exempt. Say, we're all one, whether we know it or not. So we all skinned our knee. We created all this. And that's fascinating that we created it all. All the corrupt politicians, the money, all the fear, all the degradation, all the things that we have witnessed, we collectively have created for ourselves. What does that do? Well, we learn, right? Maybe. Or do we have another war? Does it take more? Do we have to keep creating things so eventually we get them? So it's kind of interesting. I should say very interesting. That we're coming to the understanding, not the blame game at all, but the acknowledgement that we're supreme, powerful, manifesting beings that never die. And that's not the body. That is the essence which exists within the body. Who you truly are. So, you look at everything, and it's curious. Are you curious? Don't you get curious about a lot of things? I don't care if you're 180, 500 years old. Don't you get curious? Aren't you just, motivated to sit down and talk with whatever it is? You're wrestling. You could literally look at something like a wildflower, right? Field mouse, it doesn't matter. And out of curiosity, you ask yourself, I wonder what it would be like just for a few moments to be that. To be, feel what it's like. Scurry around, sniff. How do they live? How do they enjoy their lives? Or you're sitting in a park and you're looking on a bench and you're looking at a rock. You're looking at a rock, right? Most people, and here's where it comes in. Most people think you're crazy, right? What do you care? It has nothing to do with them. You're curious about the rock. So then you take a few moments and you realize that you are the rock. You haven't missed the messages that all things around us give us. And we get messages, okay? But you know what? When we're not in the now, we miss them. We miss so many of them. It's just crazy. And we don't correlate. We don't look at them as a message specifically for us, right? It's like today, I was going to get my teeth cleaned. And I'm always a passenger most of the time. There's this truck. We're driving behind this truck, and on the back of the truck, it looked like old 50s advertising type of colors and stuff. But on the back of the truck, it said young, Y-O-N-G. And it had stars bursting around it. Young. And then below, of course, it said construction. And I interpret the message, like we all do, you're aware. I interpret the message that young means the celestial chamber, which is under construction. Quite a wonderful message from the universe, if I don't say so myself. A reminder, if you will, that was telling me that the celestial chamber technology will be forthcoming and presented to the human civilization of this planet, no matter what comes our way. It will be done. And so it's kind of a burst of enthusiasm within me. And it was a joy and acknowledgement, and it superinforced my total trust in the universe, my confidence and faith in the universe and myself. You see, we see things that are just for us. No one else would look at that. No. They would look at it totally different. I looked at it totally different as a message that was being sent to me. And the joy within my heart was off the charts. All of us are sent messages. Okay? That doesn't mean that everybody's going to know what you're talking about, because that doesn't matter a squitch. What matters is that you've acknowledged the fact that the universe is communicating with you and the God within you. Unfortunately for many of us, we are so tied up in yesterday and tomorrow that we miss all those messages. We miss them all. It's like those who have left the body say the same thing. I can't believe I wasted all that time, all my life, worrying, stressing, fearing. It took up a lot of my time, all that time to get to the top, and then I leave the body, and I can't enjoy any of it. And I miss so much along the way to get to the proverbial top. And that's, you know what that's for? Ego mind. That's ego mind, every single bit of it. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. The experience of bliss is happening to someone, somewhere, right now. This very moment on this planet. Meditate, focus, and tune into those beings who are already there. Imagine what they are doing, how they are being in the world today. Let their experiences of bliss seep into your mind and your life. Write in your manifesting journal descriptive sensations and experiences. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, 6/28/2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our time for change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you.